Hey, hi.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
guys.
We're back.
We're back. We took a little break over the holidays, so welcome back to Edge of the Mirror. We have some catching up to do,
We do.
and we finally got time to play together today, and so we're here to play with you guys. Wow,
Yes.
that sounds kind of bad, but you know what I mean. We're going to play with your minds, play with your hearts,
Energy, all the whole
energy.
thing.
So we were having a really deep discussion about about consciousness knowing itself. And earlier and before we've talked about, will our audience grasp these concepts? And
Because they're so abstract.
yeah,
Unless you've experienced them, they don't become real to you, right? Until
exactly,
that happens.
they
Yeah.
stay in a thought. However, I know that when I've read books from people who have gone through the process or others had conversations with them, there's something in their energy that invites me to be in the same field. And we've had so many people where we do our work out in Cinecore come up that know what we're talking about on a deeper level.
Yeah.
So to start the year off, I think it'd be a great idea to just dive in and explore how all of our choices and the thoughts of who we um, are not actually who we are, but they are kind of like the roadmap to discovering who we are, even the crap of it,
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of what's formulating in my old noggin is just let's be who we are now because this is who we've become
Yeah.
through recovery.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember reading or hearing that addiction is the absence of choice or feeling like you have the absence of choice, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's probably, obviously my biggest experience with realizing that I can choose who I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know, is that the right words that I'm looking for? I guess I more so that I realized I didn't have to keep choosing what I had been choosing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moment that you realize something isn't who you are is a
Yeah.
very powerful and empowering moment and scary sometimes.
Yeah.
When you have that realization of wait, that's not for me. This is how it went. It's like that's not me. That's a thought.
Yeah.
I'm not just a thought. And that was huge, but it was freeing. A sense of freedom came with it,
Yeah.
but this fear came with it too. This, well, if I'm not that, then what am I?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And when the ground gets pulled out from underneath you and you're not ready for that, you don't expect it, and it will. On recovery journey, the ground will fall out from underneath you several times.
Yeah.
Um, what we used to do is reach for a dysfunctional behavior. That's that thought process.
Yeah.
And the first time that you have that empowering uh, direct experience with yourself, where you realize, oh wait, that's just a bunch of thought. You get intrigued, right? You get
Yeah.
curious,
Yeah.
yeah, and that can be a process getting there. By the way, it doesn't necessarily happen right away, but sometimes it does. I grew to love processing because I started knowing my triggers and I started knowing
Yeah.
my feels. When I get all in my feels, I knew a new revelation was coming.
I enjoyed. Yeah. This week has been so powerful from that alone, just the processing of
Mm-hmm.
everything that's kind of been all the energies that have been swirling around
Yeah.
for months, really.
Yeah.
I felt like,
Yeah. You had your own eruption.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating to see yourself outside of all of the dysfunction. All of it. It's like, wait, where'd it go? you can't find the dysfunction anywhere.
Yeah.
So where'd my dysfunction go? Oh wait, it's not mine. It was just a bunch of thoughts that I had, or that was an avatar of myself.
Yeah. Well, we,
And
we were talking about that, about, feeling like you were playing a character rather than being yourself. And I think that's probably the first, not the first, but the biggest example of, like, for me, when it became very apparent that I had been playing a character, and then I didn't have to do that anymore.
yeah,
And that was also my first experience with kind of getting into the flow state,
mm-hmm.
because once I realized that, it's like my life started to flow,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Um, yeah.
My mentor taught it or showed it to us this way. He used to love to say, "They're only playing the other end of your script."
Hmm.
You know that your script has shifted when you have different characters now playing the other end of it. You know, like I always thought I had to have a bully, so there was always a bully in my play of Cher.
Yeah.
There's got to be a bully. So every time I was needing my ass kicked to get something done, a bully would enter stage right and start
Mm.
bullying me. And the minute I realized that that was a character I created for my play, now see, I can't blame
Mm.
other people.
Yeah.
I realized I had a very powerful belief that said, without a bully in your life, you won't have the courage to actually do anything. You have to get bullied into doing something. And I remember when all the bells went off in my head, and I was like, my God, I've been running that program for decades.
Yeah.
And when my mom died, so she wasn't my bully anymore. She was my big bully, right? I had a best friend of mine turn into my bully. Out of the blue,
Hmm.
this person started bullying me. And that moment, I didn't understand it. But when all the bells and whistles went off, I was like, well, they were playing the opposite end of your script. And at chapel, I used to teach. I would hold up my finger like this, and then say, "This is your identity. We have lots of identities. This is your identity, and your identity needs an environment to survive in, right?
Yeah.
So if you were never allowed to learn a musical instrument by your parents, and you still have the drive inside of you to learn that instrument, suddenly you're the kid that couldn't learn how to play a musical instrument. So you need an environment around you that supports that identity. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can't survive without an environment. Go ahead for a second. Take yourself out of your environment right now and see if you survive. Go ahead. And don't give me that, well, I'm going to put myself in space. That's still an environment.
Yeah.
It's just a different one. So, this identity that didn't get to learn how to play a musical instrument is a victim. Okay?
Yeah.
And so, it needs a victim environment around it to sustain itself. And that environment is going to be attached to things it wanted to do but never could. Yeah?
Yeah.
And so, every time it wants to change, it's looking for somebody in the environment to help it change. And that kind of works a little bit. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of comes around and gives us a helping hand, helps us start to free ourselves from the environment. But if you keep looking for the people outside within the environment on the stage and never look at the identity, become the witness to it, observe it,
Mm.
question it. Why do you believe this? Why is this so important to you? What makes you think that's who you are? And why couldn't you write a new script? That's when you
Mm.
start to realize I have to change inside first.
Yeah.
And if I shift what's inside that's holding me back, the limitation, the fear, the doubt,
Yeah.
and tell myself, well, my big shift lately is, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not me? Why not us? You know, um,
I think it's infectious. I mean, that's really what my whole thing has turned into, and this particular shedding and growth thing is learning when, or realizing when I'm operating out of fear versus when I'm operating out of or
Possibility.
possibility, you know? And I can tell because when I'm in possibility, I'm in flow state and I can feel it, right? You
Yeah.
know? And when I'm operating out of fear, there's that resistance
Yeah.
there. And,
And habit.
yeah, yeah. And then I guess you are in a different flow state
Yeah.
in that sense. But, I really can tell the difference now,
Yeah.
you
They're
know?
different frequencies. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
There's a frequency of the
totally.
habituated mind that's not a negative thing. It feels negative when we initially start making this jump
Yeah,
because it's like, oh, I don't want that. But really, that's just it's kind of there as our safety net so that we don't go back to it. But it's not a big deal. But the more that you're in the flow and you start realizing that the flow can even be the habituated state of mind.
yeah, yeah.
See, what people start to, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it goes right into this. People have been wanting to manifest. Oh, I want to manifest the life of my dreams. And I want to
Yeah,
manifest this. And I tell them all the time, you've been manifesting all this time instantaneously.
yeah.
It's not that you start manifesting
You're always
instantaneously.
yeah, you're always manifesting. Yeah.
There's a great movie, a little known movie called Answer Man, and there's a quote in there where some kid says, "Why don't I ever get what I want?" And the man says, "You always get what you want. You just don't like what you want."
Hmm.
And I found that to be a very true statement because when we back to this thing, when we sit here and say, "But I want to learn," and now nobody ever let me. Well, who's
So
not
go
letting you
learn.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that point of impact with that thought lets go of itself just long enough
Yeah, for that crack to be there.
for the
It's where you can
possibilities to be
see. Yeah.
seen.
Yes.
Maybe I can learn.
Yes.
Maybe I can dance
Yes.
in a ballroom.
Yeah. You know how yesterday I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to think of a way for this to apply to the people at Cinecor, and then immediately I was like, oh wait, I know already the answer because I've been helping a friend out or talking with a friend, who when I met him like a year and a half ago was not ready to hear the things that he's now finally able to hear. But he held on, and it's been miserable for him. He's been living in absolute misery, but he's held on long enough. And the way he's talking and the things that he's saying, I'm like, oh, you held on long enough to see the light, right? You saw the crack of the light coming in. He's like,
Yes.
yes. And I'm like, now you're ready to hear what I'm saying that I was trying to tell you a year and a half ago that you just weren't in the space yet.
Yeah.
But now you see. So go after that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
keep going after the people and the ideas and the podcasts and the whatever that are going to help like
Keep opening the crack.
yeah. Yeah.
Keep opening the crack, and eventually the looking will be inward to oneself,
Yeah.
even deeper than that. Than that. Mine started with therapy and meditation and a whole bunch of spiritual books that were basically teaching me to look inside.
Hmm.
The answer is never going to be out there. And I went through a lot of crazy experiences. And one day I just, on this very floor, was in the fetal position crying and demanding the universe to help me.
Hmm.
I have recently realized that I wasn't the little girl inside that hated herself. And okay, so this is a bit of a stretch. Condense. I had been having back problems. And I went to a movement class and thought everything was going to be fine. And I froze in the movement class out of extreme fear. And came home, was bawling my eyes out on the way home. Came home and I just started letting the the voice say whatever it wanted to say. And I was so mad at my mother. I was mad at my mom for a long time. I was so mad at her. I was spewing all this anger and vitriol at my mom. And I was like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate myself. And I was like, what? Because it came out with such, emotion
Hmm.
and honesty. And that kind of extreme honesty can be scary, but liberating.
Yeah.
because you say it and you hear it and it creates that crack.
Yeah.
It literally created that crack.
There is something about speaking that change that manifests, right?
They
Like,
don't call it spelling for nothing.
ah,
You're
I
casting
never thought about
spells
that.
every time you speak.
Yeah.
That's why it's called spelling.
Hmm.
You're a little, it's got tingles all over my head. You're literally solidifying through 3 of your senses what reality is for you, plus putting tonation to vibration and frequency. So if now you can say hateful things, but if your vibration and frequency are really high, they're going to come out like, I hate myself so much. You're going to laugh because there's no absolute truth to it anywhere inside the psyche or the nervous system.
Yeah.
But when you do hate yourself, and I mean the belief is there that I should be hated by myself, and that's a really 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 traumatic place to be. I understand it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It really is.
it's horrible. It's a horrible place to be. And we'll put all these masks on. We will be the main character on our stage that is playing 5 other characters inside that main character. And it becomes a juggling act of personalities.
Yeah.
And that's when people usually get in a lot of trouble. They're trying to be this for this person, this for this person, this for this person, and never taking their mask off and
Yeah.
showing who they really are. And
Which is what I love about meditation, because I feel like that's where you really sit down and that's where the mask comes off, right?
Yeah.
And it's like an intimate interaction with yourself. It's pretty cool.
it in the beginning, it's not cool at all, though. It's frustrating as all get out. If you're just starting,
Yeah.
we know meditation is frustrating until it isn't.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, if you're in your weeds, meditation is hard when you sit down at first because the mind wants you to engage with it.
Yeah. I learned just as much from meditations that are uh chaotic, or I mean, I learned just as much from that as I do.
That's right. You
when
can't do them wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's the journey, that's the whole point. Yeah. God, I know. And I know I barely started. I feel like such a baby still.
You're a very old soul. You're not a baby at this. You wouldn't have walked the path that you've walked if you were an infant. You had some stuff already within you that made it so that you could do this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the way you were raised, much like me, kind of paved the way too. I used to want to know, why did I go through all the crap I went through, and then people would say these pretty, and they were being authentic, but they were kind of placating things. And I've said them to people, well, you're doing that but so that you can understand people that are going through it. And I
Yeah.
go, okay, but at the time that was said, when I was first doing this, it really didn't hold any water for me.
Did it feel empty, or?
It's like, well, that's nice, but please.
Yeah. Why is that the way it is?
Isn't there a better way? I want to help people, but did I have to drink poison to tell them they're in poison? Yes.
Apparently I did.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And that's what, when I crumbled on the floor and said, help me, and this chocolate drinking shaman showed up on my porch.
Yeah.
That knew everything I was going through and understood it and said, well, you're a very powerful wizard. You're a very powerful being who has, made it. Now, he knew I didn't hide from myself completely, but I created a very safe structure to be that powerful being at, and that was in chapel and in my healing space.
Yeah.
But outside of it, I was just timid old me. I wasn't very outgoing, and well, I'm still not that outgoing, but it was in a different way. It was more shy and reserved, and I didn't want anybody to know that I was weird and stuff like that, until all of a sudden all the cracks came in from sitting in a meditative state, not docile in it, not docile, not.
Yeah.
And I've done that. but this is a different thing. It's more like, and this is why I like Recovery Dharma, because it uses the principles of Buddhism.
Yeah.
Because Buddha just sat and sat and sat and sat in his stuff. Yeshua sat in the desert in his stuff. And all the thoughts came at them, all the promises from the material world, all the habits, all the this. And what we learn in meditation through the practice of it, not instantaneously,
Yeah.
is to be with all of that stuff and not be personalized by it, not be moved by it, not to believe in it more than we believe in ourselves as the creative source. It's like, well, I'm the one creating all the dancing idiots in my vision right now. I'm the one that's created this. I'm creating godlike images. I'm creating this, and my job, and I'm creating murderous scenes. And my job is to not be moved by them. And that's when all the cracks open up, which you're recently starting to discover.
Yeah.
And the pieces of self that were the seed shell fall away so that the plant can rise. The lotus can rise through the water. It's been nurtured in the mud. It's been given everything it needs. Now that shell is cracked open. And I wish we could help everybody understand, in whatever kind of recovery they're in, whether it's from drug abuse or shopping or just negative thought impulse or just hating on yourself. If I could just help them understand that that's the seed. That's not the end. That's the seed. And you're German. You're German. Okay, I'm going to Germany. So.
Germinating.
You're germinating. Yes, you're germinating an aspect of growth that you can't comprehend yet. You can't until it breaks open.
Yeah. There's no way I could even conceive of how I'm seeing things now. Like 6 months ago, I wouldn't have believed that I would be where I am right now, but I had to go through all those different things.
Oh, yeah.
And what a beautiful process.
It
I love it.
It is so beautiful. If you were to, okay, so we meet people every week that are brand new to this process.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love the way you put things. So often when they ask really they ask some great questions out there.
I know they really do.
So let me ask you a question about yourself, because I like to do that. Let's say, because I've known you 3 years now.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Oh, it really is 3 years we've been going out to Cinecor, and we started Recovery Dharma.
Yeah. It's been 3 years.
How cool is that?
Right?
Yeah.
But it seems
what
like
a good
longer.
Number. Very solid number.
Solid number.
Yeah.
Threes, triangles. Everything's made off of triangles. So in the 3 years that I've known you, I've seen you change quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
But not in drastic leaps and bounds. It's been like this beautiful, steady allowing of yourself to just go through whatever it was that you're going through. So my question is, in the last year and a half, what is so different in the last year and a half than when I met you? And how did that happen?
God, I'm trying to think about, okay. Man, that's almost too far back for me to go.
Well, I know you ended up teaching again.
Yeah, has that also been 3 years? Right?
You were teaching when we started
Okay.
Recovery Dharma. That started the next year.
Okay, so it's been 2 years and I'm in my 3rd year. Okay, that's what it is. All right. I think it's each time allowing myself to be more open to seeing things differently than how I was so sure that they were, you know?
Yeah.
It's been, I mean, that's kind of been like the constant process of recovery in general, but I feel like I'm giving myself more permission to, like free myself, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. Um,
So pretend I'm one of the people at Cinecore. So how'd you do it?
Constant self reflection.
What does that look like?
Honestly, mindfulness. I mean, I read constantly. It's mostly Buddhist based stuff, but because
Right.
that's just where my interest. That's for me. That's what opens the doors
Right.
to self discovery
Yeah.
for me, right? Like everybody has to find what their thing is.
Right.
That might not work for everybody, but just you know, and it's been a constant process of not trying to be too much into the reading and the knowledge aspect, but also making sure I apply it to lived experience,
There we go.
right? Like
Yes.
between those two things, because sometimes I am too much in my head and I'm not enough
Mm-hmm.
in my heart. And that's when I feel like I'm like ungrounded,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's when I start meeting resistance too, is when I'm too much in my head. So I have to like really make sure that I'm also applying it to real life situations. So
Yes.
I'm constantly, I mean, it's just self reflection all the time. And it's sometimes I do get big breakthroughs, like I
Mm-hmm.
did, a couple nights ago, where it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything opened up, and I was like, oh, now I see how to get back out of fear and into the flow for this certain kind of, for me it's like a romantic relationship
Yeah.
thing right now, right? Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm learning about myself
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, and I know, yeah, does that make sense? I
It
hope that makes
does.
sense.
Well,
Yeah,
what I heard was self reflection, steady practice,
yeah,
and embodiment of what you were learning has guided you to where you are now. And
yeah,
recently you had a really nice, big, major heart opening
yeah.
that is being curated by romantic relationship. And one of the things you had the biggest blocks to.
That probably was the biggest block.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's like limit, limit,
yeah,
limit, limit,
yeah,
limit.
yeah. I'm like, how am I like this many years into recovery or whatever? And I'm still have such a hard time with dating. But it was like, this is, yeah, it's
That was the
been
exact
really great.
amount of time that you needed to
Yeah,
gestate and germinate
yeah,
that little seed. This I don't like the term awakening as much as other people do. I like realizations
yeah,
because I think you can wake up from several dreams, and most people think they wake up from one of their dreams and they think they're awoke. They're, oh,
yeah.
I'm all done.
Nope, still in a
No,
dream. Guess what?
no. If you're still telling yourself you're awakening, you're not there yet. Um, so I like realizations, and we're leading to the self-realization, right? The
Yeah,
self-realization where the material world no longer is a requirement for our growth. We've broken through the water now, and now we're becoming that constantly blossoming lotus. And I know that we're in a society that likes instant gratification. That's part of our drug of
mm,
choice, is instant, anything that gives us instant gratification. The dopamine hitters that everybody's watching us on now.
yeah,
Thank you. Like and subscribe. um, when we slow down, we hit our first barrier of I'm not getting any instant gratification. Now, it can happen. When we see it out at Cinecor, we see lots of them out there that get instant gratification because they get to sleep better, they get to think better
they get
after
to
our
eat.
sessions, they get to, yeah,
Yeah, finally
they
they get to eat. Yeah,
they get to understand processes that they've been going through. So
yeah,
there is that, but there are those who is like, well, I'm just not getting anything. And I just like to tell people, take the small wins.
yeah,
Like you said, every meditation you learn something about yourself. So I like it when people say, well, I can't meditate, and I tried and I didn't meditate. And I say, well, what you just learned was that you've convinced yourself you can't meditate.
Yeah, exactly.
So you learned something about yourself. And I did? What? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, try telling yourself you can meditate, or you're willing to try to meditate.
That's actually how I learned about how much I judge myself, was in a meditation. And I think it was during the meditation, and the person was saying that, even if you're sitting here judging yourself right now, and then you're judging yourself for judging yourself, you're learning about how much you judge yourself. And I was sitting there at that moment judging myself for not being able to, do meditation correctly. And I'm like, oh, and then I really started to realize how much I was doing that,
There's
So
a
cool.
saying that says, we're only here to live out our judgments. Once we live out our judgments, we wake up or we become self-realized, because the judgments are often tied to our choices.
Ooh, is this where we make it back around?
Sure. So our choices, we believe our choices are so important, and I see it from a spiritual point of view, that we have really one choice, and that choice is, am I going to serve my surface thoughts, my habitual thinking, the identity that has to have this environment to sustain what it believes about itself, or am I going to serve, period, creation, just creation itself, which is the flow state.
Yeah.
Because if I have stake in the game, I'm this with an environment.
Right.
If I realize, not believe, but realize, that's the embodiment of knowledge, that I am the flow state, not these thoughts.
Yeah.
Then the way my creative life force shows up is very different. And it has a lot more curiosity and a lot more probability. And because of that, it's more fun. It's not, I don't like the idea of making a better life. I like the idea of making a more fun life.
Yeah, I'm ready to play. That's kind of the like where I'm at right now.
Yes. And me and my husband have retired. Mike's retiring next month, and we're ready to play. We've worked for a long time. And we're ready to play. It doesn't mean we're stopping our kind of magic or our servitude to what is, but it means that we are literally walking out of an old paradigm.
Yeah, you really are. I can't wait to see what happens.
We were both addicted to be honest. I can't wait to see what happens with us.
Yeah, I know. That's what I meant. Like it's going to be a whole other level of connection with y'all, How cool. I'm excited for you.
Which is just mind-blowing, because you think we've been together 40 years this year. And you would think that, well, you can't get any more connected. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. And I know a lot of people who stay together for a long time and they're miserable. That's not us. The longer that we're together, the more we dig each other as friends. We kind of outgrew the, and you do this within self-realization. You outgrow the need for the other person for them. You don't need them to be something for you.
Well, that's the realization I had about dating, right? Was that I was still operating out of this thinking I needed these things, instead of like actually looking at where I am now in life.
Right.
And what do I want going forward? And it's completely different than how I had been approaching. Right. Yes. So it was time for me to have that shift. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when in your head, you're not making them have to be this thing for you.
Yeah, at all.
You free up being what the moment needs for both of you.
Well, and that's where the play aspect comes in. Otherwise, it's not fun. The other way was not fun, but this way is way more fun.
Struggle and work, and please understand me, and please behave the way I want you to behave.
So I feel safe, and
so
blah, blah,
I feel
blah.
safe.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's so crazy how I don't have that anymore. It's so nice.
And isn't it
Ah,
funny how you didn't realize how heavy it was until it wasn't there?
oh no, it's something that always has bothered me. I mean,
Ah,
always has bothered me at just like, why can I let go of this? Why can't I? I've
yeah.
always felt like that. Like it's just, but I could never figure out how to get it to go away, you know?
But did you notice how much of a weight wasn't there when you
Oh, I
dropped
did.
it?
Yeah. Oh, it was
Yeah.
like probably one of the heaviest weights I've ever
Yeah.
dropped, honestly. So much was tied into it,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just romantic relationships, it's your childhood. It's, I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
everything is wrapped up into that.
Our biggest relationships reveal so much.
Yeah.
And when you're ready, you've done, quote unquote, you've done the work.
Yeah. Well, I'm
You've looked inside.
yeah, and I'm not looking to them to answer the question of whether I'm lovable or not.
Yes,
Like, I'm not looking to
absolutely.
somebody else to give that to me,
Yeah.
because I already know it.
If somebody has to say to you, "Why do you love me?" Maybe pause, take a breath, look them in the eye, and ask them if they love themselves.
Mm,
Because if you have
yeah.
to ask somebody why they love you, there's a part of you that doesn't feel lovable. You want a list. Show me why you love me, because I don't believe that you're loving me.
Yeah.
I need concrete proof. And it's hard to not give that kind of response, but that's a fixing response, and something that can make people feel more empowered is being heard.
Yeah.
How do you feel about yourself? Tell me how you love you. Why do you love you? And if they say, "Well, I like my smile,"
Mm,
that's not them loving themselves. That's them making a list of things they've learned to compliment about themselves. And I've seen this a lot in couples therapy, where the couples want each other to compliment them all the time, to tell
mm,
them how worthy they are of the love that they have. And I'm so glad you're out of that, because that is such a distorted understanding of love.
well, and you're never going to get what it is that you're wanting when that's the way the
No,
field you're operating from,
no, you're what you're doing is you're helping them create the environment
Yeah.
to sustain the unlovable me. You're actually telling them how to treat you. And you think you're telling them to treat you well, but you're actually showing them how to treat you. And it can be debilitating. So if people are asking their loved ones to list why they love them, um, maybe list why you love yourself first. Maybe dig in and find out why you believe that you're lovable, or why you believe you don't, and you need a list. And I say that from experience, because I used to ask Michael, "Why do you love me? Why do you love me?" And it was always a reassurance of, if how do I know he's not going to leave? How do I know he's
Mm,
not going to hurt me? How
yeah.
do I know,
Oh,
you know?
yes, I do
So
know.
keep telling me why
Yeah.
you love me,
Yeah.
and that's a lack of trust,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's a lack of security, and it's a lack of self-love. So I don't know why that had to be said, but it did. So I said it. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Trying to help somebody.
Well, the distortions are part of the addictions and part of the dysfunction. And love is the biggest distorted pattern we have. You know,
Yeah.
look at all of the suffering we do for love, and how many times people say love. There's even songs that say love hurts, but
Oh
love
God, the
doesn't
Def Leppard
hurt.
song.
Yeah. But love doesn't hurt. Love holds the psychological conditioning that we put on ourselves that's painful. You know,
Mm,
if you love me, you'll treat me this way. That tells me that you have distorted views on love, and you have dysfunctional experiences with love.
yeah.
And maybe you could benefit for yourself and your future other, for those who do this, not you,
Yeah.
to take a minute, take a beat, before you lay all of your past wounds at your lover's or mate's feet or friend's feet and expect them to fix it all for
Yeah.
you by demanding them to be something that you don't know if they're capable of being for you. There's so many arguments in relationships. Well, he's just or she's just, and I've had to tell them, look at each other. They can't be that for you because they're not the one to put that wound there.
Yeah.
They could tell you they love you and tell you you're beautiful and tell you all of this, but that's going to take decades to get through.
Yeah.
But if you turn around and just start saying, whoever gave me this line of crap is not who's standing in front of me.
Yeah.
And why am I still listening to this thought process that's not standing in front of me? And question these things. Make sure that you understand where they're coming from.
Well, and I feel like if you're approaching a relationship with you're wanting that other person to heal your wounds for you, it's better if you can, and what I'm experiencing now anyways is that that person is just there to hold space for you to work to for you to work your own stuff out, right? And not in a way that's like that's punishes them, or
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, you're punishing them for past sins or whatever,
Yeah.
but they're just there to hold that space for you and to
Yeah.
trust that you'll be able to work those things out for yourself. At least
Yeah.
that's how I'm feeling. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just here to create that space for you, the safe space.
Yes.
Right.
And if the other person isn't able to do that for you,
Yeah.
friendship.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not the non-dysfunctional healthy relationship. The healthy relationship and the functional relationship is the one that holds the space.
Yeah.
The one that doesn't take the other person's wounds personally.
Yeah.
But instead leans in and says, tell me more about that. How has that affected you in your life? Instead of trying to fix it. I'm sorry that happened to you. It's like, no, that's not holding space. I'm not going to go there. Sympathy's not always the best thing. Empathy is. Being sympathetic for people can be people pleasing and fixing, whereas being empathetic with people is always connecting.
Yeah.
It's always connecting. And a lot of times people say, you have my sympathy. Well, what they mean is, I'm empathetic with you. Sympathy is just kind of like, I'm sorry that happened. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
What do you want for lunch?
Yeah.
Or condolences and all of that. Anyway, we were going to talk about consciousness, and then we're talking about everything else.
I know. Wow.
It's so funny.
I know.
It's so funny.
I don't know where we are on time. Or can we say it there? Oh, 43.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes. This can be a long one. It's our first one of the year.
I know it is. Yay! What a great year it's been so far.
It's been a fantastic year.
Yeah.
Personally, it's been a fantastic year for me. It has been life-changing, and I don't have any idea who I will be by the end of the year, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Me too.
I discovered a while back, and it keeps refining itself, that all of this is a lesson in what consciousness is.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do it wrong.
Well, and I think that's been part of that has helped me let go of the fear that I was operating out of when I realized that. And I'm like, well, what's scary? That doesn't have to be a scary process. And what I thought was scary is actually excitement. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes. Fear and excitement often, anxiety and excitement feel very, very similar. And a lot of people were never raised to understand excitement. They thought they were always anxious. And like I recently rediscovered that before I went out on dates, I thought I was anxious. No, I was excited. But my mother told me I was anxious, so I just started believing I was anxious. But now I know, no, that's excitement. I was excited. And excitement can feel like butterflies. It can make you sweat, and it can, and whereas anxiety is fretting and worrying more for me anyway.
Yeah.
It's got this sense of doom about it, whereas excitement is just like it's kind of manic for me. You know, it's like, oh my god, you know, and all of
Yeah.
that. But even now, my excitement has, I don't want to say it's neutralized because it hasn't been like zapped, but it's not manic excitement. It's grounded.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
love it.
it's grounded
Yes,
excitement.
that's how I feel too.
That's
That's
my
how
word of the
2026.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2026 is starting out like, I feel like it's the first part has also been kind of like finishing up things from 2025, you know. And it's not just me, it's like a lot of people in my life kind of like right now, you know. We're actually going to have a ceremony, I think, which if you want to come, that'd be cool, before you left, just like a kind of you know, what people want to burn things, because I have a friend who's just went through a really bad breakup. So if we're gonna have the fire pit, so you feel like you need to burn something, or if you need to, you know, release, but also renewal and intention setting and that whole thing. So
that'd be cool.
I don't know why I went off on that, but
that's okay. This is a free flow conversation. It's couch conversation. That's how I go. We will get into classes, we promise. But I think being able to just sit and have a conversation is important in all of this work, especially when I know people and you know people who are struggling. And even though we are doing really well these days, we do remember the struggle and how hard it was and how it seemed like it was going to be impossible, and how we looked to people who had what we considered the life of their dreams. And oh, I want that so much. And so I'd like to end this with a little bit on dropping comparisons, paying attention to your journey directly, nobody else's, unless you're encouraging them. But if you're comparing your journey where you are now and you're just starting, you're going to compare it to where we've found ourselves. Don't compare it. Let us inspire you. Let other people who have similar journeys inspire you, because we've been in those first footsteps.
Yeah, I remember looking up and thinking, how will I ever get there?
Yeah.
You know?
And I was like, I'm never going to have a functional life.
Yeah.
It's always going to be dysfunctional. I'm never going to be able to get my shit together. And now I don't have my shit together. I got it all spread out.
Not true. You are. I've seen you get it together.
I have my life where it's manageable for me, and I don't have to create dysfunction. And I think one of the most important things is learning what is a manageable life for you.
Yeah.
If you are a person that gets overwhelmed by too many tasks, you don't need a life that has you doing a lot of things.
Yeah, you need simplicity.
Yeah. So find out who you are and what makes you tick and what makes you function and what makes you dysfunction.
I was actually watching a podcast the other day, and the guy was talking about that the highest form of intelligence is creating the life that you want to live.
I saw that too.
Oh, you did too? Graham Weaver, he's so great.
Yep.
I love all these men that are waking up right now. I follow a bunch of male podcasters.
Shared that too.
Yeah. Yes, that's how I got to it. And then I went to Graham Weaver's page, and then I watched all this Graham Weaver stuff.
Isn't he amazing?
Yes, he's so great.
There's a lot of it. There are a lot of men that are doing some really wonderful things.
They are. They really are.
That
it's exciting.
are fully conscious.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to watch.
Yeah,
really
the vulnerability that they put forth.
The honesty and the vulnerability.
Oh, God.
And
it honestly is so refreshing, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
And it's safe.
Yeah.
But we are being safe for them too.
Yeah, that also has to be part of the equation. Yeah,
yep.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. I'm not going to be sorry. I'm used to saying I'm sorry. I'm not sorry we rambled. I just hope that the ramble inspired you or helped you or even made you go, what are they saying? That's all right. We don't care.
It's a start.
It's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
Yeah. Look for more connection over content uploads. I've made a couple of videos. I just haven't been able to edit them and upload them yet because I've been a little busy.
Yeah.
And but that's slowing down, and I'm going to be able to do my editing and get more of them up because I'm traveling soon, and I'd like to get at least 10 of them up and loaded for you guys, so you have a really good concept of what it really means to have an authentic relationship with somebody and how to communicate through that. So that's coming. Are you going to do
Yeah.
anything on your own?
Just continue the mindfulness class. We kind of stopped for the holidays, so we're gonna do that, and then I guess I'll be doing Cinecore. I'm really actually thinking about how I'm gonna approach. No, I don't even have to do that. I'm just gonna be in the flow. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Um, that's coming up. I don't know. Things are coming. I just know that much. I can't say because I don't know yet, but things are coming. I just
Yeah.
know it.
Just please keep tuning in. We're going to be uploading and sharing, and we would love your comments because we want to know what you want to hear us talk about as far as consciousness, realization, recovery,
Self-discovery,
self-discovery,
spirituality, all the everything,
all of
everything,
that. We'll talk about
all of
all
it.
of it because it all lends a hand to each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, we keep that wheel going. So until next time, peace, love, and applesauce.